So we're just now coming to the end of Moark Road at the southernmost side of Missouri. You can see a big red gate there. That's the neighbor's driveway. And we're going to cut left. So Moark Road just ended. And we're going to cut left onto the gravel road to the property. And this is where you may encounter a gate or a cable. We'd be happy to give you the combo for that. There we go. So we'll pull on through here in a second. But also I wanted to mention, if you want to drive to State Line Cove, pull through that first gate, and then instead of continuing south, if you go off to the field, go off to the east, and there's kind of a trail that kind of runs along the tree line at the field, and that will take you all the way down to State Line Cove. You can take a truck or an SUV right down to the water, and actually, I guess you could put your boat or jet ski in right there. So we do own this property, and you've got our permission to use that. I mean, it's not an easement or anything, but as long as we own this chunk right here, you're welcome to do that. If you want some easier access to State Line Cove, if you don't want to necessarily put a trail in going east on your property, then this gives you a really good option to still get to the water. And you'll see that big tower there. This used to be a buffalo ranch, and that I guess was a viewing station, so everybody could look at the buffalo. So now we're pulling through to the south and just follow the gravel road. Beautiful open meadow. We always see deer and turkey out here. This is the nearest neighbor. Super nice guy and his wife, retired. Beautiful lake view. So we're still at the north side of the peninsula. We've actually got some Corps land on the right there. Those white pickets indicate the Corps of Engineer land. And we're going to keep heading south. So this large gray metal building, it's a really good landmark because that's where we come to the Y in the road. So we've just passed the building, pile of gravel, but that won't be there forever. But we come to the Y in the road, and now we're going to go left at the Y in the road. If we were to go right, we would continue all the way down. It goes all the way down to the south side of the peninsula, where that really cool sandy beach area is. So I mean, that's awesome. There are some rough sections in the road, so if you're not in a truck or an SUV, you probably don't want to head down that way. For the most part, it's good, but there is one rocky area where you kind of have to go up some rocks. But anyway, we go to the left. It's just the wildlife out here is amazing. It's like a private zoo. This whole peninsula, it seems like there are some herds of deer and turkeys and whatnot that just stay out here, because almost every single morning we see 10 or 15 or 20 deer in that field. We've been seeing turkey all the time. Now we've come to another Y in the road, and this time we're going to head to the right. If you go left, it just goes to a small field and stops right away. We're going to veer to the right. Really, you do want to have that MapRight link, if at all possible. Download the MapRight app to your smartphone or your tablet, and then we'll send you the link to the active MapRight map. And then if you open your email on your phone, it'll say, do you want to open this, because we'll email you the link. If you open that email, it will say, do you want to open this link within the MapRight program? And you'll say yes. And then the actual interactive map from the listing will open up, and there'll be a little blue dot that indicates where you are. So it's by far the best way to look at these tracts. because this can certainly be confusing. I've been out here many times and I'm still confused by the road system. Obviously these are fairly primitive roads or trails. That is by design. These will never be large paved roads. This is really more for truck and SUV lifestyle. Okay, so we're parked right here on the easement road. We're a little over halfway to the property. There's a trail going off to the left, to the north. That leads past tracts 6, 7, and 8 to the core line. I believe the trail itself goes all the way down to the lake. But we're going to keep heading south here on the easement road. Beautiful day, beautiful day. It's in the 40s right now. It feels warmer with the sun coming up, but it's going to be about 65, maybe even as high as 70 today, which is perfect weather for getting out here and enjoying things. And in the Ozarks, the middle of winter, like it is right now, can be really interesting because we do have 4 distinct seasons. With the leaves changing and the winter time and spring and summer, etc. But also we have stretches where it can be quite warm. So here we are in the middle of winter and it's going to be 65, almost 70 today. We just went over a couple rough spots in the road. These are minimum maintenance easement roads, so they're never going to be paved highways. Now we're at a Y in the road. We're going to hang a left. But the whole idea behind these kind of easement roads was to kind of give the whole area that character, kind of like you're driving to your cabin in the woods. And with that, you want to take a truck or an SUV to your cabin in the woods. It's pretty early in the morning, and we're staring right into the sun, unfortunately. So that's going to make the video dark. If I haven't already mentioned it 10 times, this is an awesome area for deer and turkey. This huge private peninsula. I mean, I think there are a number of deer and turkey that probably never leave the peninsula. So you are bound to see those guys running all over your property. And we're coming up now on that large meadow area. I can hear a few boats off in the lake. I mean, there are definitely people who fish year-round in this lake. It's open for fishing year-round because it doesn't get cold enough for the water to freeze over. I prefer to get it at least in the 70s before you find me on the lake, but I can certainly understand that some people are hardcore like that. Okay. So we just pulled into the big meadow area. So we just arrived in the open meadow. Took the easement road, and right away you want to take a right, hang to the right, and the road easement goes along the edge of the meadow. So we're almost to the property. We just have to go around the meadow here. So we're going south down the I guess it would be the west edge of the meadow. We're looking toward the property. It's a few hundred feet in that direction, and we'll see it in a moment, I should say. Now, I believe, I haven't looked closely at the map yet, but I believe this tract has a pond on it. I don't know if it will have any water in it. This private peninsula was at one time a buffalo ranch. I might have said that already because we sometimes splice the beginning of videos into the second half. But anyway, there's one of the spotting towers to watch the buffalo. There are 2 of those. That one someone has converted into I guess a deer stand years ago with that wooden deal up there. But the meadow metal tower is, like I said, for viewing buffalo. There's one here, and there's one at the meadow on the north side of the peninsula that we drive by. Okay, so I've got the MapRight open. You definitely want the MapRight app and map and whatnot when you visit the property. We can send you the link for that. And we're still hugging the edge of the meadow with the road easement. We've had a ton of rain out here a few days ago, and things are a little bit soft. Okay, now we've just gotten to the property. So we're at about the southwest corner of the property. Those trees should be pretty good landmarks. The guys have not marked the corners yet, but they will do that. So pretty out here, so peaceful. I love the meadow on the north side of the peninsula as well, but there's just something about the privateness and the peacefulness of this open meadow. And oh man, got ragweed everywhere. Just happened to go through a little patch of it. Okay, so looking north. I mean, you've got some nice options on this tract if you wanted to have just a ready-made flat open spot to build your home or cabin. I mean, you've got this meadow. If you wanted more privacy, all you have to do is go north into the timber, and you can be as private as you want to. And on the north end of this property, the entire north side borders the Corps of Engineer take line. So, I mean, you've got access right to Bull Shoals Lake to fish. There are different spots where you can put your boat in. Okay, so that's where I thought the pond was, and there was a pond there at one time, but there is not right now. So we've seen a few ponds out here, and some of them have water, some don't. Likely it would need to be cleaned out. Okay, I'm going to leave the truck running because I'm charging some drone batteries. So you've got the open pasture area as I look into the sun, and then at one time that apparently was a pretty good pond. No water in it right now. It may, and I haven't looked at this at all. This is the first time I've been out here, other than driving through in a vehicle. This could have a drain system where they've drained it years ago, and it just needs to have the drain closed. I can't really tell for sure. It might just not hold water anymore, but oftentimes they just need to be cleaned out. But anyway, as we continue to the north, I think I am spotting some really, really nice timber. Actually, there's a monstrous oak tree right there. So, I mean, with a property like this, you have a lot of options. If you want to build back in the timber, super private. I know people who would only ever consider building in an open grassy area, and I know people who would never consider that at all, and they need big timber when they build. And either way is fine. You're covered both ways on this property. We've got the big timber back here. Nice and straight too. I mean, this is good solid oak. Now here's just a tiny little trickle of water. It's coming roughly from the direction of that pond. I wouldn't even really call that a spring or whatnot though, because like I said, it did rain a few days ago. There's a little water there. And it looks like we're going to slope down fairly gently as we move toward the lake, which is basically ideal for a potential building site. There's 3 good hardwood trees right there. I mean, I see a lot of marketable timber here, a lot. Now, once the property's been paid for in full, you can cut the timber, you can sell the timber, you can, I mean, you've got options. While you're making the payments, you cannot do that. But I mean, we have several people who bought acreage with timber much smaller than this, and their plan is to just pay off the property years down the road and then take that timber and either put it towards someone's college fund or, you know, the sports car they've always wanted or whatnot. So I mean, when you're talking about a property with marketable timber, you're talking about substantial value generally. A lot of these trees already have substantial value, but they're definitely growing every year. I tend to like to leave the trees just as they are, but I do understand that sometimes trees have to go to create a site or create a view. And we've got some really interesting places you could build back here. Different types of trees. I mean, hickories, oaks. I see a few cedars. Nice big timber. Gorgeous, gorgeous property. And like I said, if we continued walking north, we'd get to the actual take line around Bull Shoals Lake. And then you have physical access right to the water. You can bring your fishing pole, walk down to the lake, grab a few fish, come on back, fry them up for lunch. Pretty good situation. Several different places you can put a boat in the water that are fairly close, or a jet ski. We have a lot of fun with jet skis in the summer. Pontoon boat, bass boat, what have you. See, back here, we're not even that far off the meadow, probably a couple 100 feet, but it's extremely private. You've got that ring of cedar trees up there, all the hardwoods, obviously. But even in the winter, when the leaves are off the hardwoods, you're totally private with those cedar trees up there. So, very, very cool. You can check us out at InstantAcres.com. If the property is still available, that's where you'll find it. Feel free to come on out and check everything over if you would like. We can get you the MapRight link. We can get you, you'll need the combo to the gate or the cable at the start of the easement road. We'll get that for you. Take your time and have some fun out here. It's absolutely beautiful. InstantAcres.com.